You're going to see, I think people look at Florida, they're like, man, the governor's gotten a lot done and we have, we're proud of it. You ain't seen nothing yet. This is going to be the most productive legislative session we have had across the board, and I think people are going to be really excited. So those are what we're going to be doing over these next few months. As we get beyond that, then we can decide from there.
All right. That was Governor Ron DeSantis showing up in all places. Staten Island, New York. He was actually recruiting and incentivizing a lot of folks to become Florida policemen and women. And he did have a pretty good recruitment effort there. Come to Florida. And right now, the big incentive is I'll make it worth your while. Is that a sign that he's running for the highest office in the land? Again, he dodged that kind of question, as a lot of presidential wannabes do at this stage. We'll see where that goes. But Gianno Caldwell is following that crime push of his with great interest. John, of course, Fox News political analyst, Out Loud with Gianno Caldwell, podcast host, so much more, and my friend. So, Gianno, he's clever like a fox, I guess, and that's already getting some pretty harsh reaction from Donald Trump. But that notwithstanding, one of the things he's been emphasizing is law enforcement, come to Florida where you'll be appreciated. That was his undertone there. And it certainly worked with that crowd and some other crowds he's visiting. But what do you make of it?
I think it's genius. If you even look at the image on our screen with Ron, look at him. He's a young guy, such a contrast from Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And he's doing this police push, which I think is so smart. Most people would say, like, okay, this guy's clearly running for president by going to visit these police organizations across the country. And I think that would be a good idea. But he's doing it from the vessel of, hey, I'm the governor of Florida. Look how we treat our police. And our police do a fantastic job here in Florida. This is an open opportunity for you to come join our workforce, because a lot of places, like, say, for example, in Chicago, the police force there is completely demoralized. So you get an opportunity to possibly bring some of those officers over and give them your vision for how law enforcement should operate in this country. It is genius, and I don't think many people saw this one coming.
You know, Lori Lightfoot in Chicago has an uphill race to get reelected right now. I guess the primary will be the 28th, but it doesn't look good for her. Now, she's been now trying to present that there have been great improvements in Chicago, so the crime situation is well past its worst. When you hear that and knowing what you went through and your brother's tragic death, how do you feel about that?
Well, Neil, today my brother would have been 19 years old. Today is actually his birthday, and I think about him every day, and I think about what has occurred since he was murdered on June 24th. I'll tell you, I find great solace in what appears to be a defeat of Lori Lightfoot. She's now polling at number 3, the guy who's really pulling that top spot, Paul Vallis. He was the Chicago Public School CEO when I was actually in elementary school. He's a very pro-police guy, believes in fairness. He's a Democrat, but I appreciate somebody who's willing to put forth policies that are going to be supportive of police and victims, unlike what we've seen with Lori Lightfoot and Kim Foxx, the county prosecutor there. So when it comes to this race, which is quickly coming to an end, I'm hopeful that Chicagoans will make the right choice and vote Lori Lightfoot out of office. She seems to be trying to push her candidacy and try to address issues now, when she's had a number of years to do that, and many family members murdered on her watch. She does not belong in public office. She can go back and be a lawyer or whatever it is she want to do, but she should not be leading the city of Chicago, Neil.
You know, John, I was thinking it's well beyond Chicago, as you pointed out. I remember when you went down to Washington to get to the bottom of this from Democrats and Republicans, what they were going to do about it. But just over the weekend, as you're aware, we had this crazy incident in Austin, a drag race that got pretty violent, pretty dangerous, not a cop to be found. And it makes you wonder, is that because either we're defunding them or just ignoring them or just ripping them?
You know what? It could be all three, Neil. I think the approach that we took when it came to policing wasn't the appropriate one. You can have training. Of course, there's going to be nefarious officers no matter what you do. We see in the Tyree Nichols case, there wasn't enough training, or rather not enough training. No amount of training in the world would have prevented them from doing what they did. They felt that they can do that, and that's what happened. So there's officers like that, but that is not the majority of officers. That's not even close to being the majority of officers. So our police need to know that they're supported. They need to know that they can do their jobs without fear or favor for people who may decide that, oh, I don't like, officers in general. We need to defund this police organization. That shouldn't be the case. So I think a lot of people have actually woken up to the fact that that was not the right way of doing things, and there needs to be changed if you want to see police officers continue to enforce law and order, which is what our country should stand for, especially in these locations like Los Angeles, Philadelphia, New York City, Chicago, and all over, where you have these county prosecutors who aren't doing their job, these district attorneys who aren't doing their jobs and not enforcing the law. We need to reform the system as a whole to ensure that law and order is the consideration of the day, Neil.
Gianno, thank you very much. I always tell you, my friend, you've done so much to pay it forward from the tragedy of your brother's death. It goes without saying, but you got to keep saying it. You got to keep doing it. And we got to keep remembering what folks like Gianno are trying to do with themselves, have experienced the real personal grief when you lose a loved one for no reason at all. None. Gianno, thank you.
And you know what, Neil?
Much.
I feel as though I have no choice anymore, so I'm going to continue forward. And thank you for your support, your continuous support. It's meant the world for me and my family, Neil. Thank you.
Well, you've got the world's support, my friend. Gianno Caldwell, on all of that.